All right, guys, we got to talk about Laura Loomer because her impact on politics in this country has become undeniable and absolutely disturbing. So as you all know, she has a line directly to the president. She's been in the White House a few times and tried to do these purges where she says like, oh, this person's against you, Mr. President. You got to get rid of them. And then Trump goes, what? Okay, fine. I'll get rid of that person. And so it's kind of crazy that this woman who, admits she's from a household that has like a whole bunch of severe mental illness. She's out there. I don't know if she is mentally ill, but she certainly acts mentally ill. She seems mentally ill. She's out there and, having just a horrific effect on our politics. So she clearly has a line directly to Trump. She clearly has a line directly to Marco Rubio. And so she came out and tweeted the following. So here it says, children from Gaza arrive in San Francisco through Heal Palestine. So she shares this video. You can see there's like a kid here. There's a kid here. Now, what's happening here is there's this old Byzantine process to try to get a selective number of few Palestinian kids into this country if they need specialized medical care that they can't get elsewhere. And so there's like a handful of Palestinian children who have managed to escape the Holocaust and get into this country. Okay? Well, Laura Loomer sees this, and because she absolutely despises Muslims to her core, and hates Palestinians. She sees this and she highlights it, and she basically runs with this notion that there's an Islamic invasion that's being allowed in this country. Marco Rubio, you have to stop it. We have Gazans who are getting into the U.S. How could you allow that? How could you? Basically, like, these are like sleeper cells that they're going to attack in like 15 years or whatever the fuck. This is the vibe of what she's given off. So she says, exclusive. Despite the U.S. saying we are not accepting Palestinian refugees into the United States under the Trump administration, I have obtained video footage of Palestinians who claim to be refugees from Gaza coming into the U.S. via San Francisco and Houston, Texas this month. The Palestinians traveled from Gaza to the U.S. with the help of a group called Heal Palestine. How did Palestinians get visas under the Trump administration to get into the U.S.? Did the State Department approve this? How did they get out of Gaza? Is Secretary Rubio aware of this? So she applies pressure to Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And guess what? They immediately cave and immediately give her exactly what she wants. So Dropside News says, after far-right influencer Laura Loomer raged online about a few severely injured Palestinian children arriving in the U.S. for life-saving medical interventions, the State Department announced it has suspended all visitor visas for individuals from Gaza. On Twitter, the State Department indicated no more children in urgent need of medical treatment will be allowed into the U.S. while it conducts a full and thorough review of the process and procedures used to issue a small number of temporary medical humanitarian visas in recent days. Holy shit. Holy shit. So, Palestinian children dying in need of specialized care that they can only get here went through a Byzantine process to get in, and then she nukes it because she hates Palestinians. She hates Muslims. She's an absolute psychopath. All right, you ready for this? This is the program Loomer and Rubio shut down. 3-year-old Adam has lived through unimaginable loss. On July 7th, 2024, while sheltering in a tent in Khan Yunis, a bombing claimed the lives of his entire immediate family, his parents, sister, and brother, and cost him his right leg. Today, he's in Chicago with his grandmother, his only remaining family, where he is receiving medical care, a new prosthetic limb, and access to early education. Here's this precious boy that Laura Loomer just threw a fucking fit over and demanded be kicked out of the country. Demanded we don't allow in any more visas, any more people from Palestine who need specialized care. This is who Laura Loomer is terrified of. This is who she's afraid of. This is who she despises. This is who she hates. This precious little boy. Look at his face. Look at that face. As Murtaza Hussein says here, let me share this with you because this really hit home for me. He says, the level of pure hatred is mind-boggling. Although I usually think most things about human nature are universal, I genuinely cannot understand these people. Talking about Laura Loomer and Marco Rubio and Trump and how they shut this down. Murtaza, they're evil. This is something you need to come to terms with. This is something every liberal and leftist needs to come to terms with. That they're actually not like us. I'm not trying to steal Kendrick's line here, but it's true. They're not like us. It is not the case that, everybody genuinely, wants the same thing and they're doing their best and, they're good faith actors. No, what if pure evil exists? And what if they are evil? They act like that because they are that. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck. And that's what Laura Loomer is. She's evil. Not a duck, but she's evil. Miss Loomer said she spoke with Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Friday night to alert him to the flights and what she called the threat of an Islamic invasion. An Islamic invasion. By the way, Palantir co-founder and Barry Weiss benefactor Joe Lonsdale retweeted Laura Loomer talking about this shit. Now, Palantir is the company that's creating a mass blackmail database on all of us, taking hundreds of data points on every single one of us, putting it in this mass blackmail database so that the government knows every single thing about you and knows where you are at any given time. They have the eye scan thing that ICE is doing now, where they can take one little scan of your eye from far away from you, and they got all the information that they could possibly need about you. I'm sure they never use that for anything nefarious in any way, shape, or form, I'm sure. This company, which is snuggled up to the Trump regime and getting all these contracts from the Trump regime, the head of it is retweeting Laura Loomer with her despicable, deplorable, disgusting anti-Palestinian, anti-Muslim hatred where she's kicking out little kids who need health care. Are you beginning to see the problem yet? Are you beginning to see the problem yet, what we're dealing with here? By the way, no, if you're wondering, no, Laura Loomer has, at no point in time have I seen her rage tweeting, as she does on a regular basis, by the way. I've never seen her rage tweeting about that story from the American doctor who was in Gaza and said, hey, you do know that like little kids get shot on a daily basis. And what happens is the IDF plays this sadistic game where they'll pick a body part on a given day. And so on Monday, every kid might come in with one of their legs blown off. On Tuesday, you might have 7 different kids show up with their testicles blown off. On Wednesday, you might have kids showing up with a bullet hole right through their eye that went through their brain and fucking killed them. And what they're doing is they're picking a body part on a given day and murdering Palestinians and maiming Palestinians and making them amputees. And it's all fun for them. It's all a game for them. Has Laura Loomer rage tweeted about that? About how the IDF shouldn't be doing that because it's giving a bad name to Israel and they need to focus on getting Hamas. No, of course, she never said a fucking word about that. Did she lose her mind about the World Central Kitchen workers who were bombed when the cars were clearly demarcated as World Central Kitchen cars where you had the logo on the top of the vehicle and then Israeli drones fucking murdered these poor workers? How about that? Did she talk about that? No, she didn't talk about that. Do I need to go on? Did she condemn the right to rape protests that were happening in Israel after Israeli prison guards got caught on video raping Palestinian hostages? And then you had Israeli citizens go out there and protest for the right of Israeli soldiers to rape Palestinians. Did she condemn that? No. What she does, she goes out there and she does these fucking hardcore Zionist moral panics where, God forbid, a Palestinian or an Arab or a Muslim breathes or farts. She's on a crusade to make sure you make these people's lives a living hell, destroy their lives. I literally do not understand how Laura Loomer fucking sleeps at night. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. She's straight up evil. Demonic shit is what she's doing here. How you can look at this poor, precious little boy and say, how dare you get this guy out of the country? Don't allow any more like him into the country. What is wrong with you? It's beyond words. It's beyond comprehension what we're looking at here with this stuff. And shame on fucking Marco. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? This would be the equivalent. Crystal made this point the other day. This would be the equivalent of like Louis Farrakhan tweeting some shit and then a Secretary of State under a Democrat going to the president and then the president saying, yeah, give Louis Farrakhan whatever policy change he wants. That's what this is. That's what this is the equivalent of. And you can't see it. But the right fringe now runs the entire Republican Party. They are as extreme as they appear because they're listening to fucking people like Cat Turd and people like Laura Loomer on a regular basis. So they're ruining this country day by day. And this is no different. Hear me now, quote me later. This is no different than that, famous story about the United States turning around boats packed full of Jews who were fleeing from Nazi Germany. This is the same fucking shit. And people like Laura Loomer will go down in history as disgusting, vile, cretin monsters. Because that's exactly what she is. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.